Ta-da!
Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming in Lund, Sweden. For today's video, we will be playing Day 17 of Battle for the Borderlands. The fight will be between the Reavers of Ellyria and the Dragon Slayers. Let's go ahead and take a look at the warbands and take a look at the board. For our first warband, we have the Reavers of Ellyria using the blue dice. They are led here by our leader, Vontgalrus the Pious, and he is joined by 3 dogs of war. One of them has a bow and the handcrafted ammo, so no penalty for long range. The other one has spiky knee pads, so stomp special rule, and spiky shoulder plates for a impact hits 1 special rule. So these guys will be really good when they charge into combat. And over here we have 1 additional Ellyrian Reaver with nothing special about him. So there you go, 100 points of the Ellyrian Reavers. And here is our second warband, a tiny little warband, the Dragon Slayers using the red dice. Now they are led here by their leader, Brugzuk Caskwalker. And he is a Dragon Slayer, and he is wearing right now the worn boots of unseemly haste, which give him the swift stride special rule. Joined here by 2 other dogs of war. One of them has club with a nail in, which gives him the d6 special random attack special rule. And the other one has the 2-handed flail, which is the epic flail, and this gives this guy the frenzy rule. 1 more warrior to round it off. And there is our 100 points of Dwarf Slayers. And here's our 4-foot by 4-foot table today we will be playing on. It is the ruins of what used to be a great hall or a great building, perhaps something like some sort of meeting place that was modeled after Valhalla or something like that. But obviously it has been burned down and is in ruins out here on the Borderlands. No trees, no shrubbery, just rocks, stone, and desert. So this will be the background for our fight today. Dwarves with the red dice and the Reavers with the blue. And the dwarves will pick side and deployment. And here now we have our deployment. The dwarves, I think wisely so, taking this side right here, which does not allow the Ellyrian Reavers this sort of corridor to charge through. It's going to force them to wind their way through all of these different ruins and obstacles. So here we go, a small little lineup here behind that barrier, giving them some cover from some shooting. But that is how it will look. Pretty daunting. And the Reaver deployment, I've spread them out here. I'm going to try to do some flank attacks, see if they can come from different angles and charge in through these ruins. So there you go. Let's go ahead and roll off to see who begins. Reavers deployed second, so they decide on a 1 to 5. No, it is a 6, so that will go now to the dwarves. And the dwarves are going to go ahead and decide to take the first turn. That is huge. So here we go, dwarf turn 1. No charges to declare, but let's go ahead and march these guys up in these directions and try and get some cover behind these different buildings. And there's our final position, nothing else to do this turn. Let's move on to Reavers turn 1. Okay, we have fast cav for the Ellyrian Reavers, so let's go ahead and make some movements here. First of all, let's move that guy right over there, and which allows him now a shot onto the leader. Second, let's take both of these guys and they can weave their way through here. We'll put one here and we'll put our leader here on the other side out of the charge arc of those dwarves. And finally, let's move these guys. We'll put one here and we will put the other one right here. Still out of the charge arc of the dwarves. All right, let's take a shot with this Reaver up through there onto the leader here, and we will be hitting on 4s. And that's a miss. All right, so just a lot of positioning here. Let's go ahead and turn us down here to game turn 2, and let's go dwarves. Well, this is quite the game of chess. We've got no charges to declare because the Reavers are all hidden, but we got to move these guys. I don't want to just plop them out here because they're going to get charged. So let's try to move them around maybe and get a different position. This is a really hard move for the dwarves. All right, maybe this is cowardly, but or maybe super brave. I pulled these 3 back here so that they'll be able to just attack if the Reavers come through there. And I put our Dragon Slayer up on top of this building. He will be a sitting duck and easy to charge, but he's going to take the fight himself. All right, let's move on to Ellyrian Reavers, turn 2. Let's see what they do. Okay, I think I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 2 Reavers, I'm going to bring them around here and put them outside the average charge range of those guys, but behind them, we're going to move up the rest of the Reavers and place them into position here. All right, so we've made all of our movements, and this is where the Ellyrian Reavers fast cav comes into good use. They have the ability to do a lot of flanking moves. So I brought these 2 guys over here onto the flank. They are outside of the average charge range, so beyond 10 inches of those guys. I've got one guy over here, our leader. He is also 10 inches out of the charge range, so that'll be a difficult charge. One more guy over here, also outside of 10 of this guy. This guy right here outside of the average charge range as well, and he has the bow and arrow, so he's going to go ahead and get a shot off. So here we go, hitting this guy on a 4. Got it. Wounding on a 6. No. So there we go. At the end of the turn, the dwarves are surrounded by the fast cav, and they now have a chance to react. Let's run over here and flip it over to game turn 3. Dwarves. All right, charges to declare. All or nothing, dwarves. We gotta do it. So let's go ahead and declare some charges. Let's have this guy charge here, and he will hold. This guy will charge here, and he will hold. Charge here, hold. And finally, let's have this guy charge. Let's have him charge the guy who's shooting the arrows, and he will also hold. On second thought, he's actually going to flee. So Swift Stride, he's going to take off 8 inches. This guy will actually attempt to redirect now. Leadership of a 10. And he's able to do it. So let's redirect over to here, and he will... he's also going to flee. Let's go ahead and flee from there. He's going to go 10 inches. With that, he cannot redirect into anyone else. So let's go ahead and move those guys out and see where they land. All right, he fled through some terrain here, some difficult terrain. So this is a dangerous terrain test. He's fine. Same thing over here. He's also fine. Okay, let's go ahead and roll these out. The moment of reckoning. He's got the Swift Stride rule because he has the Boots of Haste, but we need an 8, an 8, and a 10. So let's go ahead and roll here for an 8, and he gets it with a 9. Boom! So he comes in, crashing in, connects. Next guy, let's do him. He needs an 8, Swift Stride. No, he gets a 6, so he will go ahead 4. There's his final position, and the last guy, we need a 10. No, so he will also fail ahead 4. And there is his final position. So only one guy got into combat. The strategy of the Reavers seemed to have worked because they will now be able to charge the next round. All right, let's go into our combat here, the only one. Before we do that, let's roll for our Ancestral Grudge, and that's a 5. We should have done this earlier, but it's okay to do it now because we haven't had any combat yet. This allows us to have hatred rule against all models. So we have hatred against this guy, hatred against the dwarves, against everybody. Starting now with the Reaver, hitting on a 4, and re-rolling for always strikes first. No. And we have these 6 special attacks here, so we have 2 attacks. Let's go ahead and roll 2 here. Now we're hitting on 4s. And there is 1 wound, and wounding on a 2 because of Resolute and our power. He is unable to prevent that with his armor, so we drop our leader down to 1. Leadership 8, drop down to a 7, and let's see if he can stick around. Please do. No, it's an 8, so he's going to turn around and run off the board. That was huge now because our leader is going to turn tail and take off the board. So that guy has now defeated that Ellyrian Reaver. And let's have him turn around and face back into combat. Yes, a huge combat over there. That brings us to the end of Dwarf turn 3. Let's go ahead and go on to Ellyrian Reaver turn 3. First off, charges to declare. Let's have this guy charge here. He will hold. This guy charging there, and he will hold as well. We can't possibly fail those, so that's how those combats will look now. Compulsory moves, let's try to rally these guys on a leadership of 8. Yes, he does it. So he turns around. Other guy over here on a leadership of 8. No, that is a 10, and he's going to keep going on Swift Stride. Oh my goodness, 9 inches. That's going to take him off the board. So this is not going how I planned. We are already down to 3 Reavers. Not to our breaking point yet, but wow, we're not doing very well. Let's go ahead. We've got remaining moves. Fast Cav, he can rally and move. So let's go ahead and move him like normal. And so there's his final position outside of the average charge range of that dwarf. Let's go ahead and take a shot here for the shooting phase. Hitting on a 5, wounding on a 4, no. All right, let's run over this combat here and start out with our impact hits from this guy. Wounding on a 4. Yes, that is a 6. 5+ save. And he gets it with a 5. All right, let's go here. This guy's going to be attacking in, hitting on a 4. No, but re-rolling for ASF. No. Coming back here, hitting on a 4. No. Let's go into this next combat. He is going to be hitting on a 4. Yes, and because of the spear and the charge, wounding on a 4. And that is also a 4. Here we go, 5+ save. No! So that guy is going to actually go down. We'll take him off the board. That was huge. And let's go ahead and just turn ourselves around here and face to that combat right there. And end of the combat phase. That will bring us over here now. Let's flip over and head to turn 4. Dwarves. Charges to declare. Oh yeah, we're going to take this Slayer and have him jump off the building and charge into this guy. We're pretty close to the edge. We don't want to risk fleeing, so we will take that charge. Here we go. And an 8, no problem. So he will come flying down here and crash into base contact like so. And there's how that combat will end up. Remaining moves, this guy has got to get back into the fight eventually, so let's bring him right here, and that will hopefully get him within charge range. Yeah, he does indeed have line of sight. All right, let's take these combats here. This guy hitting on a 4, re-rolling his miss. Hitting on a 4, no. Coming back with a 4, yes. And because of our great weapons, if you connect, usually you kill on a 2. And he gets it with a 6, so this guy goes down. Boom. Let's go ahead and turn this guy around, and that will now drop the Ellyrian Reavers down below their threshold, so they will have to roll. All right, Reaver here, we need to be hitting on a 4 and wounding on a 6. No. All right, 3 attacks coming back with our great weapon, and we are going to be hitting now on 3s. Yes, wounding on 2s. Amazing power here. And boom, that guy is also gone. So we just killed 2 Reavers in this turn. End of that combat phase. We've got 3 of the Dwarves left over here and 1 lone Reaver over here. Let's go ahead and take the route test. Okay, here we go. Leadership 8. No, it's a 9. So the Ellyrian Reaver runs off the board, and he takes off. The victory goes to the Dragon Slayers. Powerful game. So there you go. The Dwarves win that match, and this Dragon Slayer was incredibly powerful. As our leader, let's go ahead and roll on the leadership chart and see what he gets for upgrades. So Brugzuk Caskwalker had 1 kill, so we'll add 1 to our 2d6 on the leadership chart. There is an 11 plus 1 is a 12. Lord of Battle. Your leader gains either +1 attack or +1 wound. Well, seeing as he's already at his maximum 3 wounds, we will give him an extra attack, which will put him up to 4 attacks, and if he is using his 2-handed weapon, 5 attacks. Pretty powerful guy. He just keeps getting stronger all the time. With that victory, the Slayers now advance to round 3, where they will take on the winner of the next match between the Savage Orcs and the Empire Gunners. Stay tuned for those exciting games and the rest of the games to come for this Battle for the Borderlands. Thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming, where Grey can always play.